Okay, so when you think of a Christmas carol, what comes to mind? Probably cozy fires, carols, maybe some festive cheer, right? Well, hold on a second, because this story, it doesn't kick off with any of that. Nope, it starts with death. It starts with darkness, and it starts with a truly terrifying warning from beyond the grave.
And that really gets to the heart of the whole thing, doesn't it? Can one single night, just one, force a man to look back on his entire life and face every single regret? That's what we're about to dive into. We're going to see the start of that night, an experience that's designed to corner one man, show him a past he can't run from, and a future he desperately needs to change.
So, to get to the bottom of this, we first have to meet our main character. And I use that term loosely. This is Ebenezer Scrooge. And believe me, before we can even begin to understand the ghost that's coming for him, we've got to understand the man himself. The story kicks off by making one thing absolutely 100% clear. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. That's Scrooge's business partner, Jacob Marley. He's been gone for 7 years. And get this, Scrooge was his only friend, the only person who even showed up to his funeral. But was he sad? Not a chance. He actually celebrated the day by closing a really good business deal. Then, it was right back to work.
And this, right here, really lays out the central conflict, doesn't it? On one hand, you have everything we associate with Christmas: cheer, generosity, warmth, people coming together. And then, you have Scrooge. The book describes him as being hard and sharp as flint, a guy whose own inner coldness literally chills the air around him. He's not just grumpy, he is the complete, total opposite of the Christmas spirit. And what's his response to all this festive cheer? You know it. Bah, humbug! That's what he says when his super cheerful nephew Fred pops into the office to wish him a Merry Christmas. Just that iconic, grumpy shutdown. For Scrooge, there's absolutely no reason to be happy, especially if it's the kind of happiness that doesn't make you any money. And look, this isn't just talk. His cruelty is very real. He actually tells his nephew that anyone who goes around saying Merry Christmas should be boiled in their own pudding. I mean, who says that? He keeps his office door open just so we can keep an eye on his poor clerk, Bob Cratchit, who's stuck shivering over this pathetic little fire that gives off like 0 heat. And he even complains about giving the guy 1 day off for Christmas. So let's be clear, this isn't just some grumpy old dude. This is a genuinely cruel man.
All right, so after another day of making money and making everyone miserable, Scrooge heads home. He has no idea, absolutely none, that his cold, perfectly predictable world is about to be completely blown apart. This, my friends, is where the real story starts.
So just try to picture this scene, okay? His house is tucked away in this dark, super gloomy courtyard, and the whole place is just wrapped in this thick, freezing fog. The vibe's already heavy, you know? It's unsettling. It's honestly a perfect reflection of the guy who lives inside.
He goes to put his key in the lock, something he's done thousands of times, no big deal. But tonight is different. As he looks at the big metal knocker on his front door, his eyes catch something impossible, something that just can't be real. And what he sees is the very first crack in his solid, predictable reality. This is it. This is the moment the haunting truly begins. For just a split second, that door knocker, it's not a door knocker anymore. It's the face of his dead partner, Jacob Marley. It's just staring back at him with these ghostly, totally lifeless eyes. You can imagine his blood just runs cold. But Scrooge being Scrooge, he shakes it off almost immediately. Nonsense, he thinks. He unlocks the door, goes inside, and tries his best to just forget the whole thing.
But whatever he saw isn't letting him go that easy. The weirdness follows him inside. He double locks his door, thinking he's safe, but then an old bell in his room, one that hasn't been used in years, just starts ringing, all by itself. Then he hears a new sound. It's coming from deep down in the cellar, a clanking, dragging noise. It sounds just like someone is pulling a massive, heavy chain, and the sound gets louder and louder as it comes up the stairs, and then it stops, right outside his door.
Now, Scrooge is trying so hard to rationalize this. He's blaming it on a bad bit of beef, indigestion. He keeps telling himself it's all humbug, but there is no way he can deny what's about to happen. The wall between his world and whatever comes next is about to come crashing down.
And then it happens. A figure floats right through the heavy, locked door. It just phases through it. As it takes shape in the room, the little fire in the fireplace suddenly roars to life, almost like it's screaming in alarm. And in that flickering light,
Scrooge sees him. The weird bandages around his head, the empty eyes. There's no question. It's Marley's ghost. But here's the really terrifying part. It's what the ghost is dragging behind him. He's wrapped in this long, heavy chain, and it's made of things that Scrooge recognizes immediately. So what is going on here? What is this bizarre punishment? And why on earth is Marley's ghost covered in chains?
Well, Marley's ghost tells him the horrifying truth. He says, "I wear the chain I forged in life." Every single link in that chain was made from one of his own selfish acts. Every time he was greedy, every time he ignored someone in need, every time he put money before people, clink, another link in the chain.
And check this out. The chain isn't just made of, regular metal. It's made of cash boxes, keys, padlocks, heavy purses, and all the account books he kept. And this is just such a brilliant and terrifying detail, right? The very things he spent his entire life collecting have now become his eternal prison. He is literally physically weighed down for all eternity by his own wealth.
And then comes the line that just hits you like a ton of bricks. Marley looks right at his old partner and tells him, "You are wearing a similar chain yourself, Ebenezer Scrooge." He explains that Scrooge is building the exact same kind of chain, link by link, with every single selfish day that passes. And that his chain, it's already long, it's already heavy. He just can't see it yet.
But here's the fascinating twist. Marley isn't just here to scare the life out of him. No, this visit, as absolutely terrifying as it is actually a rescue mission. It is one last, desperate chance for Scrooge to avoid the same fate.
And that's the real reason he's here. Marley tells him, "I am here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate." So think about that. This nightmare experience is actually an act of mercy. It's his old partner throwing him a lifeline from beyond the grave.
And that chance, that one shot at redemption, it's going to come in the form of 3 visitors. Marley warns him that he's going to be haunted by 3 more spirits, and they are his one and only hope.
And Marley even gives him a schedule, like a supernatural appointment calendar. The first spirit, he's coming tomorrow, the second the bell tolls 1 in the morning. The second spirit will show up the next night, same time. And the third, the final ghost, will appear the night after that, on the very last stroke of midnight.
So after Marley's ghost just vanishes into the night, Scrooge is left completely and utterly shaken. He stumbles over to his door, checks the locks. Yep, still locked. He is so totally drained by this whole thing that he just collapses into bed without even taking his clothes off, and boom, instantly asleep. And so there he is, fast asleep, with this terrifying prophecy hanging over his head. The stage is officially set for this incredible journey through his past, his present, and his future. The only question now is, what are these spirits going to show him? Will it be horrors? Will it be hope? And most importantly, will it be enough to finally break that heavy chain he's been building his entire life?